The Ukraine war is one of the most closely watched conflicts of modern times, but the numbers tell a much colder and more terrifying story. Are these figures revealing hidden trends within the chaos? Can they predict the future of this brutal conflict? Russia's illegal invasion has led to unimaginable devastation. A 1,200-kilometer front line, 150,000 homes flattened, and entire cities wiped off the map. According to the World Bank, reconstruction will cost over $500 billion. As both sides dig in, war of attrition appears to be the only way out. Today's video will explore the astonishing data of this conflict, from shifts on the front lines to the humanitarian crisis. These numbers hold the key to understanding the impact and what lies ahead. Whether you're delving into military strategy or casualty figures, this analysis will provide essential insights. 2.5 years ago, Russia shocked the world by launching a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The main objective was to capture Kyiv and overthrow the Ukrainian government. Russian forces, numbering 360,000, attacked from Belarus but faced fierce resistance from Ukraine. Through guerrilla tactics and effective defense, Ukrainian forces repelled the Russians, forcing them to retreat in April 2022. Since then, the war has turned into a brutal stalemate, with Russia focusing on Donbass and the southern regions, employing attrition warfare and relentless bombing. Ukraine, supported by the West, has employed a gradual counter-offensive strategy, but at a very high cost. Despite facing an enemy superior in numbers and equipment, Ukraine has modernized its military since Russia seized Crimea in 2014, adopting Western military models and transitioning to NATO standards since 2021. The conflict continues, with every meter of land fiercely contested. The Ukrainian forces have undergone a profound transformation, replacing comrade with sir and organizing the military into autonomous brigades. With an initial 250,000 active personnel and 220,000 reserves, they have received substantial aid from the West since 2022. Air defense systems, tanks, anti-tank weapons, and over $400 billion in commitments. However, this nearly 2.5-year conflict has inflicted heavy losses on both sides. By the end of 2023, Russia had lost 90% of its initial invasion force, equivalent to 315,000 soldiers wounded or killed, with 70,000 fatalities, a number that might be double. According to U.S. intelligence estimates, up to 120,000 Russian troops have been killed, compared to 70,000 Ukrainian soldiers. Some reports suggest that Russia's losses could exceed 500,000. More than 3,600 Russian officers have died, including 424 at the rank of lieutenant colonel or higher, along with 11,463 prisoners killed on the Eastern Front. These figures illustrate the staggering level of losses that Russia is facing. In terms of air power, Russia has lost 122 planes and 140 helicopters, while Ukraine, despite having only 69 fighter jets remaining, has managed to prevent Russia from gaining air superiority. Russia has also suffered significant naval losses, with 26 warships and submarines destroyed, mostly due to drone attacks and Ukraine's ATACMS missiles. By the summer of 2024, Ukrainian attacks had forced Russia's Black Sea Fleet to withdraw from Sevastopol. The cost of the naval war reveals a striking asymmetry. Each ATACMS missile costs $1.3 million with a range of 190 miles, while the UK's Storm Shadow has a longer range and is twice as expensive. Ukraine used the Storm Shadow to damage Russia's Kilo submarine and recently claimed to have sunk another Kilo submarine using ATACMS. The Rostov-on-Don submarine, worth $300 million, was destroyed by a missile costing just 1/300th of its value. Ukraine has also used these missiles to destroy oil depots, ports, and landing ships, rendering Russia's navy nearly inoperable. Drone warfare has become a crucial element of the conflict, allowing Ukraine to overcome limitations in manpower and military industry. Drones, with their low cost and high effectiveness, have been used to attack everything, from soldiers to targets as far-reaching as the Kremlin. By early 2024, Ukraine had 200 drone manufacturing companies, with production increasing 100-fold compared to the first year of the war. Ukraine's goal is to produce 1 million drones in 2024. double the number of artillery shells provided by the European Union during the same period. In February 2025, a coalition of 10 countries pledged to supply another million drones to Ukraine. While Russia announced plans to produce 2 million drones in 2024 and is importing thousands of Shahed drones from Iran, producing 100,000 per month. The introduction of AI drones has changed the dynamics of the conflict, as just a few operators can manage entire swarms, minimizing the risk from electronic countermeasures. Despite conducting its special military operation for over 2 years, Russia claims to control only 18% of Ukrainian territory, compared to 7% before the war and 27% shortly after the invasion. Since 2022, Ukraine has received hundreds of donated tanks. Poland leads with 324 tanks, including 270 T-72s and 14 Leopard 2A4s, valued at $599 million. The U.S. provided 45 refurbished T-72 tanks and 31 M1A1 Abrams tanks. The Netherlands donated 104 tanks, including Leopard 1A5s and Leopard 2A4s, while Germany sent only 18 Leopard 2A6 tanks, and the UK donated 14 Challenger 2 tanks. However, more valuable support came in the form of infantry fighting vehicles, IFVs, with the U.S. supplying 352 M2 Bradleys, worth $634 million. The Netherlands and Germany contributed 269 YPR 765s and 140 Martyrs, respectively. Artillery has played a crucial role, accounting for up to 80% of casualties. Ukraine requires 75,000 artillery shells per month, while Russia produces 250,000 shells monthly. The U.S. has sent over 3 million shells and provided artillery support worth $977 million, including 142 M777 howitzers. Artillery systems from the UK, Italy, Estonia, and others have also been sent, with notable systems such as the Kaiser, France, Denmark, Archer, Sweden, and PzH-2000, Germany, the Netherlands. Multiple launch rocket systems, like the HIMARS from the U.S., 39 systems, and systems from the Czech Republic, Norway, and Germany have destroyed many of Russia's key assets. Germany also leads in air defense support, surpassing the U.S. Germany has donated over $4 billion worth of air defense to Ukraine, including 24 IRIS-T SLM systems and 2 Patriot systems. The U.S. and the Czech Republic each sent 16 systems, with the U.S. providing 1 Patriot, 13 NASAMS, and 2 Hawk systems. These systems have helped Ukraine counter Russian missiles, UAVs, and glide bombs. In terms of costs, the war has inflicted $152 billion in damage on Ukraine and $211 billion on Russia as of February 2024. Russia has lost an additional $10 billion due to sanctions and the suspension of arms sales. Although Russia is thought to be capable of enduring a prolonged war of attrition, the domestic situation has grown tense, with nearly 20,000 people arrested for protesting the war and 892 criminal cases launched against dissenters. Data from OVD Info shows a significant increase in political arrests in Russia since the invasion of Ukraine. Out of a total of 3,626 people prosecuted since 2012, over 1,300 cases occurred in just the last 2 years. The Putin administration has intensified its crackdown to maintain fear and suppress dissent as the war drags on. Russia's economy has also taken a heavy hit. Russia lost approximately $27 to $34 billion in gas revenue in 2024 due to a loss of market share in Europe, equivalent to its education and healthcare budgets. Previously, Russia exported nearly 184 billion cubic meters of gas to Europe, but this dropped to 72 billion cubic meters in 2023. If current trends continue, Russia risks falling behind other major powers like the US, China, and the EU. Before the war, Russia's annual inflation rate stood at 9%, but it skyrocketed to 17.8% in the first year of the conflict. Thanks to the central bank raising interest rates, inflation fell to a low of 2 to 3%, but has climbed back to 7.4% earlier this year. Interest rates have fluctuated, from a peak of 20% dropping to 7.5% in 22, then rising again to 18% by mid-2024 to control inflation. Meanwhile, Ukraine has also suffered severe losses. An area equivalent to the size of Romania has been littered with landmines, and the explosion of the Nova Kakhovka Dam in June left 600,000 hectares of farmland without irrigation. The unemployment rate rose from 10% to over 30% during the war, and inflation peaked at 26.6% in October 2022. Although Ukraine's economy partially recovered in 2023, the country still requires around $15 billion for reconstruction and recovery in 2024. The war has not only devastated lives, but also caused immense economic and social repercussions for both Ukraine and Russia. These numbers vividly reflect the destruction, but more importantly, they represent the people and communities facing unimaginable challenges. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more analyses on global issues.